Alas, I have found the perfect place to record this video. Right, so the feed part 2 was the very definition of sticking to the bit. Pure inspiration and ideas stemming from an offhand joke. The conversation quite literally went down like this. By all accounts, this was not a remotely serious idea.
But you know what? The damn thing is you gotta be serious about making a picture.
At the time, I was completely lacking in resources, people, and locations that coincided with any vision I had for a film, but this was something I knew I could do and do well. I also wanted it to be mine, but I also wanted a true sequel that expanded on visual ideas from the first movie. I wanted to make the aliens to Tazio's Alien. In other words, right off the bat, I knew I wanted to find a way to expand the world building of the first movie. So with what I had available to me, I figured the best way to do that would be to open with a kind of recap that also kind of vaguely goes over and explores the idea of how the feet have actually impacted more than just that one location we see in the first film. Obviously, there wasn't a terribly large amount of ways to do this successfully, so I had the idea to contact a friend of mine, the famous Glenn Bauer, to do voice work for the opening and closing. I didn't actually even give him a script. We mostly just spitballed a few ideas of what I wanted my so-called vision to be, and then I mostly just let him do his own thing. I then cut and spliced together different takes and recordings together to what is now the end product, and I'm quite proud of the results.
These demons go by one name, and one name only. The Feet, Part 2.
Which I find to be appropriately funny, while still making the world seem a little larger than just the one location the film is set in. There was obviously quite a few other leftover stuff that I found too funny to just cut, so I repurposed some to have a little narrative thrown in the credits that I think works pretty well.
I love eating
Shit!
The other aspect that I felt the need to expand upon was the filmmaking mechanics of the feet themselves, and the opening point of view shot seemed like an obvious and natural way to do so. I had a few ideas of how I was going to achieve this shot, but eventually found the perfect solution being to simply place my camera atop this wooden toy car. A lot of people have told me, in a positive way, that they can see Sam Raimi references all over this, and while I can't deny the influence, I must admit to this never being my intention. It was just instinct. I never once thought, let's do a Sam Raimi shot here, or whichever director I unconsciously aped off of. It's simply what I perceive to be good filmmaking, which is why I think we get drawn to our influences in the first place. We get to see someone else share in certain aspects of our instincts. I can't help it if that's just what good filmmaking is.
Of course it's cool. It's awesome as shit.
Another mechanic that I thought would be fun to throw in is stupidly simple, but I thought it'd be fun that the feet can actually move separately from one another, which allowed for some really fun gags that were a little ambitious for someone at my level. Specifically these shots, which I achieved by sticking my brother's feet in front of a green binder, which turned out to look exactly how I wanted it to. And I couldn't be happier with the results. This was once again a case of me not actually writing a script. I did write down some notes, but I quickly stopped and decided to just walk around the locations I knew I'd be using and roughly plan out how each sequence would play out, and would worry about the shots when I got there, which really isn't too hard if you actually know where your film is going and how you want it to play out, at least for me. The Feet Part 2 to me represents my first version of a gun for hire picture, where it's not technically an original idea on my part, rather it was something suggested to me that I latched onto, which, while a small example, gave me a new appreciation for the idea of directing a script or an idea that isn't technically my own. An idea doesn't have to be yours for you to add your own vision and meaning to it to share with others. It's a concept that I feel really makes filmmaking stand out as a medium where you get to not only share your own stories, but also share with the world the way you imagine the stories you have heard that you picture in your head. Hey, so I couldn't really think of a relevant way to end the video or something that wasn't just me trying to be funny, so I thought that this would be a good place to end.